What's up YouTube? This is Paper K and welcome back to my Dwarf Fortress tutorial. This is episode number 8 and first thing we are going to talk about is standing orders. So in order to get there, on the main screen we can hit O for set orders. And in this menu we have a bunch of different options. They're kind of general options that pertain to the whole fortress. We can go to A is gather animals, F is dwarves gather food, and U is dwarves gather furniture. So these are kind of just a bunch of hauling specifications that you can choose. I'm just going to leave these all default. Mostly what I'm concerned with is R for now, refuse. So if I hit R, it'll bring us into that refuse orders menu. And right now the default is dwarves gather refuse, which is fine. You do want them to gather refuse so that they will grab all the rotting material and place it into the appropriate stockpile. If you don't, then they'll just let them sit there and rot. But I do want to change where it says dwarves ignore refuse from outside. I want them to actually bring refuse into certain stockpiles that we are going to make soon. So let's hit O. Dwarves, so now dwarves will gather refuse from outside. And that's the only thing that I want to change in that menu. Let's hit escape to go back. Another one that I'm concerned with for now is H, dwarves all harvest. And what that means is that when your crops are finished, that any dwarf who's nearby can go over there and harvest the crop, which I don't actually want. I only want the farmer to harvest the crops because the farmer gains experience only when he harvests the crop. So I'm going to go ahead and hit H, and now it says only farmers harvest. So let's hit escape. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to set a stockpile over here. This is related to one of the options that we just changed, and it's a refuse stockpile. So let me hit R. Let's draw our little box here. Let's go into building tasks and preferences and change the settings. Now under refuse, I want this stockpile to hold all the bones. So I'm going to forbid everything except for skulls, bones, shells, teeth, horns, and hooves. Alright, and this menu just came up. It says Locum Ecudlislat. He says, I am your liaison from the mountainhomes. Let's discuss your situation. And this happens usually fairly early in the game. You get this sort of ambassador from the country that you have originally embarked from. I'm going to hit enter, and that'll go away, but there's going to be, here we are, a menu that comes up. He says, what requests do you have of our merchants? If you hit A, you begin the discussion. And now we have a menu that is similar to the embark menu when we first started. It has all these different items, and we can choose the priority that each item has. And what that is when traders arrive from the mountain homes, they will bring the items with higher priority that we specify here. So if we go to the top item here, Wolverine leather, and I hit right, you can see on the right here where it has the priority category, it moves further to the right, which indicates a high priority. So if you put it all the way to the right, they're most definitely going to bring Wolverine leather. There is a price for that though, and that is when they do bring the Wolverine leather, the price will be higher depending on the priority that you set. So I'm actually not going to set any priorities. But this is useful if you find yourself in dire need of certain things and you need certain items to show up. But I think we're actually okay, so I'm just going to hit escape. And the reason that we set up this stockpile here is because we're going to be building a Craftsdwarf's workshop, and they use wood, they use stone, they also make things out of bone. So let's go ahead and build that. The liaison says, remember, trade agreements strengthen bonds. Please consider an import agreement next year. So I'll hit A to continue. Let's go to B for building and W for workshop. The Craftsdwarf's workshop is R. Let's go ahead and pop it over here next to our carpenter and make it out of siltstone blocks. Now I've already gone into Dwarf Therapist and assigned someone who didn't have too much stuff to do to be our Craftsdwarf. But the labors that are enabled is wood crafting, stone crafting, and bone carving. The liaison says, let's discuss what we are willing to offer for your Craftsdwarfship. The liaison says, well then, we have finalized the export agreement. Feel free to go over the documents. And here are the priorities and the prices for the items that the mountainhomes require from us. So it looks like maces are in a somewhat low priority, spears are a high priority, musical instruments are a high priority, and so on. Hit escape. It's not really necessary for us to create those items, but those are the things that we will probably make the most profit on. He says, farewell, Aitson, Ritz, and Edson. I will look forward to our meeting next year. Our fortunes rise and fall together. Alright, the next thing we're going to cover is the butcher and tanner's shop. And the nice thing about the butchers and tanner shop is that they will queue tasks automatically, just like the fishery. So when there's a corpse available to be butchered, the task will automatically be queued, and then when the butcher is done and they have hides available, then the task to tan the leather will automatically be queued in the tanner's workshop. The things you have to worry about with that is you need your butcher and your tanner, who are going to be the same person for me right now. You should disable all of their other labors, because perhaps they are overhauling something and they decide that that is more important than butchering the fresh corpse. It'll just sit in the butcher's workshop and rot and generate miasma and not be useful for anything. And same thing with the hides. So let's go ahead and build our butcher shop and our tanner shop. We're going to go into B and then W for workshop. The butchery is U. So let's go ahead and put that there. Make it out of blocks. And the tanner is N. Let's put that right under it. And these should be close together because one of the products from the butcher is going to be the raw material for the tanner. Make it out of blocks. And let's go ahead and I have this little stockpile over here by itself. So let's make that. Q for set building tasks and preferences, S for change settings. And we are going to want to go into refuse and enable it. And in this menu, we are going to basically just permit corpses. So let's forbid item types. Let's forbid skulls, bones, shells, teeth, horns, hooves. Let's leave hair and wool because that's also a byproduct of butchery. Okay, now that we have corpses and body parts enabled, let's hit escape. So now we have a little stockpile just for these two workshops here. And remember, if you have a master stockpile, to take away all the things that we have just made stockpiles for underneath. So let's go ahead and change settings. Don't have anything in there. Let's go into our refuse stockpile. And we're going to forbid corpses, body parts, skulls, bones, shells, teeth, horns, hooves, and hair and wool. Alright, our Craftsdwarf has finally decided to go over there and build his workshop. So let's go ahead and get some tasks queued up. We have a hunter, and we keep getting a message that the hunt is canceled because of a lack of ammunition. So let's go ahead and make some ammunition. It can be made out of bones, it can be made out of wood, or it can be made out of metal. But we have a couple pieces of bone now, so let's go ahead and go into the bone category, which is B. And here we are, make bone bolts. So let's hit enter. I'm going to put that on repeat, and then our hunter will have some ammunition. In fact, we should probably make a stockpile for ammunition. So let's hit P and Z for ammo. Just choose this vacant spot right here. Just check out the preferences, and that will be just fine. So, although we are using the Craftsdwarf's workshop right now to make ammo, the best thing about the Craftsdwarf's workshop is all the sort of little trinkets that they can make. So let's go into the menu right here and add new tasks. Let's go into rock, since you have like a million pieces of rock laying around, and hit enter. And as you can see here, we can make rock crafts, rock mug, rock instrument, and so on and so forth. So these things are totally useless for us, but when traders come, it's great to make a piece of rock into an instrument, for example, and sell it to a trader and make a nice profit, as opposed to just selling them a boulder. Alright, well, that just about wraps up this episode. Thank you for watching. Please leave me a comment. If this video helped you out, please give me a like, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.